Are you a cat, Jane?
David, question for you.
Me? Jane, are you a cat?
Sometimes.
There is other.
Yes, imaginary Aiden is standing right next to me.
Yeah, let's go.
Bobby is downstairs doing worship because he's a big boy now and he can do it. He'll be back and then he's gonna leave for the editing song.
Are you still kind of drunk?
I'm gonna call the clock.
I am the cop.
FBI open.
Ayo,
I don't understand how this is so hard. Okay, guys, hit the ball.
No, Mrs. K.
Mrs. K. Okay, that's her.
Yeah, you're
Yes, you are.
Oh my God.
Well, then it's my turn next.
No, get out.
How does that make sense?
Now it's you.
Now it's my turn.
Now. It's you.
In now, eh?
Aiden loses. Oh. Oh. We're giving numbers? Okay.
Okay, so I'll win
You
10.
done?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm still playing
Shut
there.
up.
You yes, 3 to a me.
Okay, well, I already interviewed.
Aiden, you're dead now.
Are you?
Hold it, hold it.
This is a lot of weird.
Hey, don't call my ugly voice.
Judah, my turn.
You said if she hit it.
Oh crap! Elaine
That's
touched
a
my ball.
she? Wow.
Here, retry.
No, you're in no, actually, I'm a
No, he touched the Wi-Fi. I couldn't even do anything.
You get a point.
Fine, Mateus loses.
I believe she's getting a diaper.
Mateus, kick me.
Mateus,
Not
don't
cool,
kick
dude.
people.
Yeah, not cool, dude.
Judah, you're so lucky.
Aiden, stop touching the Wi-Fi on my turn.
I'm after Willow.
Don't draw on her. That's not nice. I was about to say, would she draw on you? But the answer
Let
might
go,
be.
let me.
No, Judah, you did this.
All right,
No, I didn't.
put your pen away.
I hit it, and then my hand was just over here, and the Wi-Fi was like top of hole, and I was like, oh
So
my
there.
gosh.
Okay, so by default, Aiden. What? That is so racist. What?
Aiden, why is everything racist to you?
Woo! That left.
Boy, a girl, you say that's racist.
No. Actually, Willow would always hit me.
Miss KJ?
What? Willow just
It stopped! It stopped! And that was a side
And
shot.
that was a side. You got 2 letters. Shut up. No, I didn't. You're on you.
We should just say she got 3 letters.
Hey.
Okay,
Hey. Okay, that's
do it.
Girl watches.
Don't poke my armpit.
It's
I'll
not
poke
your
your
turn.
armpit. Yes, it is.
I win by default. Simon won. Oh. Willow skipped me.
I go after. Who just went?
You went after Willow and you skipped me.
Okay, yeah, I'm going after.
What's the order?
It was supposed to be me. I didn't get a letter. No. Okay, so it should go. No. You, Willow, me.
No, you were
You will need to do this.
Well, you're asleep. Here.
It's Miss Tay-Tay.
Mateus, we're gonna annoy you.
Yeah.
Because you like that.
How's that with you? You go harmonic?
It sounds like a kazoo.
You were out of.
I bet that's the guy from Kazoo is mad.
Oh my God, you said that it would work.
It's Mateus. You got a letter. Oh, another name. Another name. No. It's not Spanish. It's in French. And you don't want to know. No, it doesn't have French. Okay, go. You're out.
No, I'm not.
You're on you.
Hey, no.
You're so short.
Hey, actually, you're not. Okay, Judah. If you were your answer to this. Judah, what is your answer?
working right, so they said the exact opposite.
Actually, so the letter S means N, and it's N for A in your house. Snow? No. Okay, it's your turn.
Yeah, no backwards.
S and that's just snow. My turn. It was, so you chose. You weren't playing. Yes, you're out. You know, you keep dropping my phone out of my shorts.
That's not me dropping your phone, that's your shorts dropping. Oh crap! Bro!
Okay, so what do I think now?
I couldn't get it out!
That's what she's You're on you now.
You're on you now! I thought you were saying.
My turn.
My turn!
I have
Yes!
to hit it.
Put the black ball on the thing! Thank
That's
you!
the white ball.
We're playing opposite then.
Oh, can I bring your hair?
Right!
Red. What? Okay, your turn.
No! Oh, you're out! Let's go! You're so bad!
Wait, so is this a 5-year-old? Oh my god, you guys voted. You guys voted on the 5-year-old. Yeah.
Hold on, I'm making fun of you.
Aiden hit it again. So Aiden, you like all the fun you want. I don't care.
Why are you so short?
Some people are gifted with talents. I thought you Aiden. Seven. Probably not for some because this is He'll go.
Just nonchalantly waddles over you.
You got your turn.
No, it wasn't.
Hang on.
How short are you?
It's your turn. No, it's not. Oh, you're so short. Aiden, taller than Judah? Okay, what's your answer to this?
Mateus, you know what it is.
Say yes. I don't know what it means. Say yes. Oh, sorry. Yes. Judah.
No.
Listen, it actually hit. I'm so lucky.
I know you do that and see it. I know you break my head and see it.
Yeah, I'll tell you. It starts with Will.
Aiden! It has my name in it.
No, it doesn't have your name. But
Let me
no,
ask.
not Willow. It starts with Willow you.
No, it doesn't. Did you say something? It starts with I. It's you, Judah. It starts with are you.
Will you?
It says, hey, you guys are being gross. No, we're not.
I didn't do anything.
You, Judah!
I've done nothing.
You're all people. You guys both on you. You guys both on you now. You and Judah are on you. I win. See, this is Judah.
No, wait.
Judah.
Shut
Are Judah?
No, that's not anything.
Yeah, I know. Really different word than sure.
I don't know what I'm on. Yeah.
I may not know very much French, but I know that. It's Judah.
I know zero.
It's your turn.
Hey, that's a side note. I'm trying.
Oh, it's not working.
Fujisawa. What?
Do you know what that means? I said I don't know any French. I know like one French.
Starts with Will you.
No, it doesn't. I know again. Okay, wait. So,
Into with me.
Judah, you're out. Judah, you're out. No, it's not.
No, I'm not. Someone touched it again.
Okay, no, I did. No, it's not. That would be on me. Aiden, stop.
You suggested.
It has kill in it.
No.
Okay, now you're out.
Will you kill me?
Judah, you're out.
No, I'm not saying I'm touching it.
No one, you did.
No, it was winning the thing.
No, I hit it. And then you took both of them.
No. You're lying.
Simon's the most honest person.
I don't know.
It's the non-weirdest person here. Sorry. I got confused. Simon, go.
It was awkward though.
Yeah, I'll go. That is not true. Simon is not. Wait, technically he's out. Wait, me and Judah are not awkward. We're the most outgoing. I'm very much alive.
See, I win. That's my power.
Out, you black midget.
I think that was
Me or him?
supposed to decline.
He is a power of having his tape.
Oh, yeah.
And the power of walking around with a plastic.
Oh my God.
Wait, so did I plastic match?
No,
I won.
I won. I was out doing first.
No, I was out.
Yes, I'm selling
The
pretzels.
place that I went to, the plastic one didn't get around in the
Yeah.
I thought you did. Honestly, honest mistake on my part. Are we playing again? Oh my God.
Rainbow.
I thought of everything. Extend your back.
Wait.
Did you realize it was okay?
Nope. Extendo back.
I am the most normal person.
Simon is the most normal.
You should have played my head on Friday.
He's not tall. He's not buff. He's not short. He's not fat. He's so normal. He has brown eyes, normal haircut. It's just he's so normal.
Yeah, how are you going to come?
How am I not normal? Because you're wearing a tank top.
Oh, wait, I know. Because your voice is halfway through cracking, but not all the way finished.
Oh my gosh! Yo! I got both controllers.
No, I call second.
Okay, fine. Third player. My bad, Aiden.
Only a 2-player game.
It's 4.
And where's the second other controller?
I had to resync them over here.
Okay, local battle, online battle, single player. Single player.
No, no, local.
Single player? Oh, single. No, I don't want to be third player. Switches me with that.
What game is this?
Anyone in Aiden?
What game is this? What is this?
You're breaking the tricky tower.
You guys were okay.
You got controller.
What are you doing? I lost.
Aiden!
Yeah?
Stop hitting Aiden.
My bad.
Wait, I haven't picked yet. Back, back, back! I say thee.
Simon, take the controller.
Oh my god, it's Simeon.
Willow, you can braid my hair
I'm
down.
not syncing.
Okay.
I'm
I'm
in.
not syncing, or are they all syncing?
I'm in.
Oh, they're all good? Okay.
Wait, is it Xbox One?
Actually, I can't remember.
Wait, is it
Everybody be a
360?
wizard. Everybody be a wizard.
I just bought 360. I literally have a 360 now.
How have you not had 360?
You finally get your chance.
What?
You don't want to? Wow.
I don't even know how to play.
I have an Xbox One, an Xbox One S. I have a,
Now these should get a share.
and I have an Xbox 360, a PC,
A BBC.
2 switches.
What the heck happened?
Will, you can get a share.
I have 7 switches. You spend too much on video games. That's not true. That's not
I
possible.
only own the
What
Xbox
happened?
360.
Alright, guys, hit A.
Hey!
There's the controls.
Move,
Quick.
bricks, rotate, bricks, nudge,
That's
bricks,
question 1.
light magic.
Oh, dark
Wait,
magic.
what?
I want to do dark magic.
Oh, I can do magic!
Oh my god, wait.
Dark magic is an attack against the other players. Light magic is a helpful
Start
spell.
spamming
Yeah, I know. I've seen
How
people
does
play
this
this.
work? I've never
What
played
is
that.
this?
I'm gonna start
It's a race
spamming
to
B.
try and build a tower to the top as fast as you can. It's like the opposite of Tetris, but with physics.
I don't know who I am.
Don't forget there's physics.
Oh, there's
It looks like
physics?
Tetris to try
Oh
and
god!
symbol.
Yeah, they're like physics.
As soon as your block touches anything,
You guys
physics
are
immediately
so
sets
bad.
in.
Who am I though?
As soon as it touches anything, even on the side of the block, physics will set in.
Who's the far left?
If you hit that little dashing line, the diamond line, you'll get a spell you can use against other people or for yourself.
Build like straight
Remember,
up.
X is the nice spell for you, and B
What
is the bad
happened?
spell for everyone else. I think.
Oh, Jesus.
Ah, my blocks are falling!
Like all of it. Oh my god, he lost.
No!
I did.
Oh, I got a windmill.
I got a piano.
Guys, like, I don't even know what I'm doing here.
Yeah, obviously
You got
pretend.
it? You got it?
Yeah, like all those things are
Physics doesn't work in this game.
About you, God,
Physics are annoying.
want to see
Yeah, I hate physics.
Tell that to Isaac Newton.
I've done that. He hated it.
Wait, you've spoken to Isaac Newton?
No,
Yeah.
He is Isaac Newton.
How do I do
Yeah,
this?
I am
Vroom,
Isaac.
vroom, I'm an Isaac Newton.
Thomas Edison.
Hey, I need that block.
Wait,
They're not letting me move it!
But this is your chance to make up a new one.
This is actually so messy.
I know, right? I don't like people that are mean.
Dude,
Black man!
No!
No, not a balloon. I don't want to be balloon.
Ones that was on the list.
No!
Then I never
No!
did it. So this year I'm making
Who did that to me?
Then you can pick one of the ones we already got.
I'm voting on the person who's called Aiden. Who's Aiden?
Maybe number 1.
I'm
Actually,
not kidding.
number 3
I'm
has more.
third.
We've done werewolves.
I'm in first.
We've done vampires.
My block just threw my block.
We haven't done giraffes.
Wow, everybody's changing like instantly.
On the contrary, Daniel, I've done giraffes.
Are you number 3?
In art class. So slowly but surely, the lines you're trying to reach for like spells and finish line will fall too, to make the game easier if you're bad at it.
How does what?
Yeah, if
Wait,
you're really
so
bad
it looks like
and it's taking a really long time, the lines
No!
will come down and
No!
get closer. To
Oh my gosh, that's so.
What the heck? Ah! Oh God!
Whoever did that, no one loves you.
That's true.
Dude, that giant block really helped that guy on the left out.
Yeah.
True, but we gotta get.
That being me.
I'm literally.
Why? Yes! Dark magic.
Based on last year, I would say about 150.
How do you play the game?
It's
No!
no!
Oh God, I'm confused.
That was
Are
gonna
you
be
a third
so
player?
good.
What? I'm first.
Oh God! Oh God, what is this?
Who's in first?
Me.
I'm in third.
I'm in first.
Bro, I'm like.
Use the light spell.
Wait,
Quick,
yeah,
player
you were the
three,
one that
got
was in
this.
first.
No!
Use the light spell.
What?
Player 3 had a spell. They don't anymore. But the light spell will give you really cool stuff like making your bricks have lines and attach them.
Judah, you gotta do better than this.
You can also just try
I
going
have money
faster
on
to
you,
win.
Judah.
Just like hold down.
Judah.
What?
I had money.
I know. I just broke everything.
Yes.
No, I'm third.
Yeah, I'm betting 4 pennies. Yes. Oh,
Oh,
my
good.
gosh.
I love it to be
Yes.
bet 40 meetings.
Yes. Never
Quick,
mind.
attack his tower!
Yes.
How do
I'm
I?
betting.
How do
Right, your
I?
tower's bullying.
How do I get this block off? This block's annoying.
Right?
One
I destroyed
block.
myself. I played a one-player game against
One
myself.
block. Are you kidding
And
me?
I
Yes,
couldn't
had
even
money
win
on
because I
you.
did my first like 5
Keep
blocks
that
wrong.
money.
And I couldn't get them to fall
Okay,
off.
bet's flying.
Dude, player 2 is hacking.
What?
Player 2 is hacking. They have a floating tower section in the middle.
Yeah, I win.
What is this?
I win.
How did you make it slow? I don't understand. How did you make it
Alright,
slow?
only the winner gets to keep their control.
I have
Everybody else
money
pass
on
it off.
that.
Everybody else pass it off. Quick, 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 quick. Pass it
But
off.
I was
pass it off.
first for a while.
Wait,
Pass it
who
off.
won?
Pass it on. Pass it on.
I won.
Alright, literally Judah's the only one who passed it off. You guys are the worst.
Bro, I'm
I didn't even pass it off. You just stole it.
Yeah, that's
I
what I
passed
meant.
it off.
It's like a code word.
Oh god. Trust me, this is like the OG strategy.
Just
I
spam.
don't like the physics in this game.
Try to
It's just the physics of life.
Yeah, physics are annoying.
I know.
But who really likes life? Am I right? Am I?
I mean,
I'm not
he-
sure. Are you right
he
or are
spoke
you
the-
right?
Yeah, like he spoke the truth.
You just turned a tree into a tree.
How do you turn a tree into a tree?
You take it into
Take a
the
bush
tree,
and
though.
you turn it
Wait,
into a
wait, who's player 4? Use the balloon.
Bro, look at this.
Player 4, use B.
Whoever plays first is just flying.
No!
Dude! What? Oh, it's rotating on its own? Why would it rotate on its
Do
own?
this.
Whose idea was this?
Me, it was mine.
Oh, nuts, I was holding down. Wait, who paused?
Hey,
I think that was me, sorry.
I was
Oh,
holding
yeah,
it
that
down.
might be good.
It
whoever
blocked,
player 2, use
it
B.
blocked what I really wanted to do.
Who is doing this?
Yeah!
They're even bigger.
It crashed!
Uh-oh, guys, one of your batteries died. Who is it?
Oh, mine.
Wait, all of us are on. I don't get it. One of our controllers.
Press A.
It's Micah. It's Micah. It's
back!
Micah.
It's back!
Wait,
It's Micah.
did Leon purposely disconnect himself?
Micah's controller
Maybe.
died.
Oh, why?
I got
Why
blind.
is this happening?
Oh god!
Penny, you were doing
What
good
is
for a
this?
while.
Wait, does this game cost money?
Yeah, like, it was on sale though. It wasn't that much.
How much?
I've been waiting so long for it.
Guys, my
much does it
controller
cost
isn't even connected and I'm
I
winning.
think normally it's like
I'm
20
literally
bucks.
winning and my
That's so
controller's
cheap for such a fun
disconnected.
game. I'm gonna ask my parents for $20 so I
Yeah,
can play
Tricky
that.
Towers.
I wanna play this, it looks fun. And it's on Xbox?
This is on Steam.
Daniel, you might
Oh.
die.
Guys, I was in first and like I literally wasn't even playing. So I'm kind of cool. Oh, wait.
No!
Whoever
Why?
first pressed
Who
the
did
button
that?
made history.
dots. I missed that.
Click down the orchard. I meant not. I can't even
What just
control this.
I just nudged it.
You nudged it too far.
Yeah, I did. I was trying to get rid of it because it's bad.
Player 3, they're doing really good. Who's player 3? They're doing amazing.
Probably Daniel.
You can click that right now.
Dude, that helped out second.
Daniel, what player are you?
3.
That went.
So you're doing
Use
really
the
good.
bubble or use the X. Use
No!
the X. Use your powers. Use your powers.
Oh my god! It's a double A.
That is the biggest piano ever. How did
Why is
you?
that piano so large?
How did you?
Hey, you
win
might
that,
actually win this.
Daniel?
You might actually win this. If you just play your cards right. Some of them.
These aren't cards.
Daniel, no!
Daniel, just push down. Spam down. Spam down.
No!
Ah!
You lost so much progress to a piano.
How are you still second? Just went from first to
I
second.
can't even control my controller.
You can use that.
I can't even.
No, I wouldn't stay.
That was a bad use of it. Not what I mean by use it.
Come on.
I
I'm like literally still at the bottom.
I like how it's the blocks that you don't want. You just jump.
Oh, come on.
Sliding off. Yeah.
Oh, no!
Push down. Spam down.
It's on a balloon!
I know, but you can still go down faster.
Why did it sliding off?
You
I
could
can't
put it
control
there.
this stupid thing.
One of our camp pictures.
At the end of the year.
Oh my god, you actually collected it. Come
Because
on.
you get them all digitally. I sent the link to your parents.
Oh my
I wonder if you
god.
have the one that person took.
Man.
Me and Danny asked someone to take a picture.
Yeah, that's what I did. That's what I did. Yeah.
Oh! We're so close.
It's like
No.
Tetris
So
in a
Ah,
video
I
game.
got so close to second.
Aiden, you didn't even
just
take
too
out your
good.
controller.
Alright, guys, time to start. Everybody grab a Bible.
What? I only got to play one round.
How about I get to keep this on? Yeah.
Well, I won, so I'm. Daniel, can I get a free thing?
And you were supposed to hand off your thing. You do not get a free thing.
You're literally just for free stuff.
I think we do. We're supposed to come together
Why
together
did
and
you
walk
do
it out.
That was really bad.
Oh my gosh.
Alright, guys, grab your Bible, grab a seat. Grab your seat.
You can't reach it.
Then put your butt in the seat.
Gentlemen, this way.
Grab your Bible, put your butt in the seat.
Phones in the bucket.
Captain, please.
She didn't even finish.
Noah, did you finish?
No, I didn't. I couldn't do anything.
You don't want to pick any of these.
I did 4.
What is that?
How bad you are.
I'm just going to pretend like I'm playing Fortnite.
Should I hit submit or do you want to pick any of these? Alrighty, Micah, Edward, Kira, find a seat.
I tried, but they're all taken.
That's not
You thought this was a gas station? No, I thought.
Make sure you have a Bible in hand and then open it up to Joshua chapter 4.
It is so trash. I'm
No.
just watching like a crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, wait, that's you.
No.
What are you trying to do? Trying to steal play.
Samuel,
It just shows
it's been like 2 weeks since I've seen you. It feels like your character's grown. Like this much longer since last time. So just remember, you can start thinking about it.
Who are you talking to? Her?
Okay, so we are in Joshua chapter 4. But very soon, on Friday nights, we're going to be starting topic nights again.
In September again?
So, I need your help to think of our topics for this year. I have put up a little Google form at ccchico.com/topics. And it is up to you guys to help me figure out what topics we're going to cover this year. Willow couldn't think hard enough, and so she just let it be war. That's it. Just war.
I couldn't think once.
It's okay. It's okay. So, anyways, ccchico.com/topic. And controller. Controller should no longer be in the hands of the youths. Bible should now be in the
Yeah,
hands
you
of
can't
the
even grab it.
Daniel, can I put my phone in the phone?
Yes, if your phone is not in the
Smash
bucket,
Bros.
please change that now.
Oh my gosh.
I
I
know.
feel like I can get my
There was a
phone.
Bible inside that controller in the back.
No, those are called batteries, and they're different.
No, they're called a battery.
Yeah,
Oh crap, I gotta put my phone there.
Emily, could you find me enough sheets of paper for
Battery
everyone here to
starts
have
with
one?
a B, and since Bible starts with a B,
Just
it's
paper.
basically the same
Any
thing.
paper, could be lined, could be not lined, don't care. Grab a notebook, go to the copy machine and source.
But there
Don't matter.
isn't
Hey guys, phones placed in the bucket.
Even if not even having
Aiden literally is like cheating. He was like hacking the system. It's
Yeah,
not even
it was
cool.
hacking.
It's not fair.
Out of the four
Everyone
phones, he
knows
puts it on the
buckets are the
second.
number one way to hack.
Yeah, Aiden.
We call it
Yeah,
the
we know
bucket.
your secrets.
Aiden in the back row, there is no back row. So Aiden, you're in the wrong place.
Aiden.
Find a seat in the front row.
Imagine being named Aiden.
Right there, or right there, or right there.
I mean,
I didn't ask Aiden, would you like to? I said, Aiden, there is no back row.
I would
Find a
love
seat
to.
in the front row.
is the background.
Like I said, there is no back row.
Imagine being named Aiden.
There's a second front row.
Hi guys. So topic night's kind of a big deal. It is your chance to ask your questions. Edwin? You guys can ask any Bible question, God question, life question, culture question, I don't care. But you can also just suggest a topic, a thing you would like us to all talk about. It needs to be something that you're actually curious about. I have had a mixed response this last year of people putting in things they just think it will be funny if we talk about. And that is not helpful. Because the idea behind topic nights is that you guys get to have a conversation with your leaders and with God about something that you want to know more about. So it could be something confusing, it could be something important, it could be something that has nothing to do with the Bible, but it just needs to be something you actually think a good conversation is something we should have about that topic. So, could be a question, could be a topic, either way. Go to ccchico.com/topics, put in your suggestions. Paper? No. Paper? We'll get there.
Oh, we're gonna be playing a game.
LeBron got him.
Is it drawn right? I love
Logan,
that
did you
game.
move Judah, or did Judah move Judah? Okay, Judah, find a seat.
But I like to be back here so I can mentor over them. I don't get any distractions back here. I don't get any distractions back here. I didn't even see Logan.
Go sit over there.
I didn't even see
You
Logan.
generally talk to?
I didn't
Yes.
see Logan before I started.
That's a great question. Alright, so in
Judah, you supposed to
Joshua
let
chapter
Eddie.
4, we are picking up in the midpoint of a story. Does anyone remember from two long weeks ago? Judah, you're sitting over here. Quickly. Thank you. Does anyone remember from 2 long weeks ago what was happening in Joshua chapter 3? Aiden, you remember?
Oh, I know.
I wasn't here 2 weeks ago.
Well, then why did you raise your hand?
I
To
know.
tell you that I wasn't here 2 weeks ago.
That's an amazing statement. Yes, Micah.
We were talking about that lady on the.
Oh, that was 3 weeks ago.
Oh my.
But it was good memory. It's good way to reach back there. Yeah.
I just talking about Ruth. You were going through Ruth.
Oh, that's a totally different lady.
Yeah.
So was that with Brett or with David? Dave.
I don't remember the name.
Dave. Got it. Okay. So yeah, different lady was 3 weeks ago, and that was skip me a beat. Rahab. Different lady. But Rahab and Ruth are interesting characters because they both have similar qualities. Do you guys know the connection between Rahab and Ruth?
They both started with the letter R.
That is a very good point. Well done, sir.
Thank you.
You have now graduated. You are now a ninth grader.
Awesome. Good.
In Pride.
And I'm actually like,
No. All right. So all diplomas are fake. Sorry, I don't have any good ones. No, Rahab and Ruth are actually related. Did you guys know that?
obviously they both start with the letter R.
So Rahab is not an Israelite by birth. Rahab gets to join the nation of Israel by saving some Israelites, and then she goes on to have kids, which leads to a man named Boaz.
What? No.
Did you guys remember Boaz?
Oh, yeah, I know Boaz.
Who's Boaz?
I don't know.
Yes.
Boaz is the one that Ruth mentioned.
Right, and Ruth is not an Israelite by birth either. So interestingly, these 2 women, both not Israelites, both end up becoming Israelites,
Boaz is a woman?
and both are in the genealogy of Jesus Christ. Ruth, her bloodline with Boaz goes down and eventually leads to King David, which eventually leads to Jesus. So yeah, Rahab and Ruth, both outsiders who get to join the family of God through adoption, marriage, however you look at it. Okay, so last week though in chapter 3, your post Rahab, last week, no, 2 weeks ago in chapter 3, we were crossing the Jordan. Does anyone remember the high priest and an ark walking out into a river? Does that ring any bells for anybody?
Oh.
Yes? A little bit? Okay, what happened when the priest with the ark walked in the river? Remember? Waboosh. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Anyone want to put some more words on the waboosh?
Oh, I do.
He's not wrong.
That's a good word.
But it's just not that helpful for someone who wasn't here. Yeah.
Spread.
Waboosh. We're all over the book, all over the map here. Yeah, that was great. Your hand motions, I think, were more instructive. What was that?
I accidentally said the boom part. Okay.
Out loud. That was just supposed to be in the head.
Yes.
Okay. The water of the river suddenly stopped and then started going backwards like a wall. Can you just kind of picture that for a second? You guys ever tube down the Sac? Sacramento River?
Tube down the.
Gone on the boat down the Sac?
Oh yeah.
No one's ever gone down the Sacramento River on some inner tubes?
I mean,
Grow up.
Oh, okay.
Thank
The
you.
Sacramento River.
Yes, that one.
I actually have the other day.
Great. Okay, so you know how big that is.
Yeah.
Can you just kind of picture for a second an invisible dam that's just suddenly formed? Just an invisible wall immediately forms in the Sacramento River.
Like out of water, or like out of.
Just like right in the middle of the river. It's invisible. And all of a sudden, it starts going upstream. Just kind of picture it. What would have to happen
I would trust
for that to work?
That's not how it works, Micah.
The water would actually have to start going up and up and up and up and up, because as you go upstream, there's more and more water back there. And so you can't just like make a wall. You actually have to keep on raising the height of the wall,
So it's like a tsunami.
but in reverse and in slow motion.
I get the.
It's like someone hit the rewind button on the tsunami video. That's what happened last time. Okay, so the priests are standing out there with the ark, and as long as they're standing there, this is going on, and now the entire nation gets to just cross over the river on dry ground. But there's one more little detail that's going to happen in the midst of the story. This is all happening right now. It's real time. Chapter 4 is happening in the middle of the story. Edward, pick a chair. Stay on that chair. Do not take someone else's chair.
Not
You already
cool,
were,
Edward.
so
Not
you can
cool.
stop now. All right. Chapter 4, right in the middle of super awesome river trips with people crossing over the super awesome river. Pick up your Bible with us. We're going to read chapter 4.
Chapter on. Okay.
Joshua chapter 4.
Genesis.
Edward, you are on the wrong page.
Genesis chapter 1.
Yeah, Edward's on the right book.
What do you mean?
You're on Joshua.
Oh. I thought it was.
He said Edward, not Joshua.
Oh, no, sorry. Like, inside the Bible is 66 separate books. They're all books.
Now.
I've never
Why is everybody here? Go you, Bobby.
It started as a personal thing, like people inside the thing. And it's
Little sister couldn't say brother.
slowly crept out.
Yeah,
You don't have
it
to
was all
admit
Kira's
this, no
fault,
one knows.
actually.
You can make up other reasons.
Yeah, she did start.
Like one time there was a bear that was going to attack your family, and instead he just snuggled it, and he was like, "Don't play with the bear." Like, you just make that story.
But that'd be funny.
It'd be funnier.
How do you know it would be lying? I've never told you about the bear smuggling story.
But Daniel just said make up a story.
Aiden, you didn't.
He made it up.
Chapter 4. Edward, were you able to find it? It's on page 183. You're way past it. Yeah, you're way past it. This is how I know you're in the wrong place.
So paying
Because your
attention.
pages are on the wrong side of the book almost. 183.
I'll find out.
183.
Age appropriate.
What?
Did you find it?
Yeah.
Okay. Find the big 4.
Page 182.
No, the next one over. You're one page right there.
gosh,
So,
Edward.
yeah. See the giant 4? No, don't. Giant 4. See it?
Oh, I see fine.
Go past that in the other direction, left. Up,
Up,
page,
up,
towards the top,
over.
giant 4.
Oh, I see.
Memorials to the Jordan crossing. Okay, great. Here we go. When all the people had crossed the Jordan, the Lord said to Joshua, "Now, choose 12 men, one from each tribe. Tell them, take 12 stones from the very place where the priests are standing in the middle of the Jordan. Carry them out and pile them up at the place where you will camp tonight." So Joshua called together the 12 men he had chosen, one from each of the tribes of Israel. He told them, "Go into the middle of the Jordan." So they just crossed the river. It's having its water held back. And then he said, "Oh, yeah, go back in." That's fine. He told them, "Go into the middle of the Jordan, in front of the ark of the Lord your God. Each of you must pick up one stone and carry it out on your shoulder. 12 stones in all, one for each of your 12 tribes. We will use these stones to build a memorial. In the future, your children will ask you, 'What do these stones mean?' Then you can tell them. They remind us that the Jordan River stopped flowing when the ark of the Lord's covenant went across. These stones will stand as a memorial among the people of Israel forever." So the men did as Joshua had commanded them. They took 12 stones from the middle of the Jordan River, one for each tribe, just as the Lord had told Joshua, and they carried them to the place where they camped for the night and constructed the memorial there. Joshua also set up another pile of 12 stones in the middle of the Jordan at the place where the priests who carried the Ark of the Covenant were standing, and they are there to this day. All right, so today we are pretty darn good building bridges. I don't know if you guys noticed. There really isn't too many rivers that exist that don't have a bridge. How many rivers are there that no human has decided, "I'm just going to put a bridge across it"? The tiniest little streams, just the ones you can hop across. There's one in Yosemite that no one's bothered to build a bridge across?
Yeah, because when we went to Yosemite for a school trip, me and my friend, like, there's this, like, national area where we went to explore. There was, like, this big old river. No one built, like, a little bridge across it. We just had to jump across, like, the logs and stuff.
So it's small enough to jump across.
No.
But you can't across.
With other stuff.
I
With
feel
the
like
pedal
So you like jumped on things that were sticking up out of the river?
Yes.
Got it. So
There's a bridge on that.
you still got to cross it?
so
Okay.
pretty much like the crossing road.
Yeah, basically.
He's
So it's
under-
crossing it.
Oh yeah.
Crossing stream. Okay, so,
Can't jump on
but back then, bridges were fairly rare. Later cultures, after this one, later in time, would eventually get better at building bridges. At this point, though, bridge building was pretty stinking rare. And so usually when you crossed a river, you crossed it at a place of fording. You guys ever played Oregon Trail, the video game?
Oregon Trail?
Dude, I grew up playing Oregon Trail. Has anyone else played it?
Beep, beep, beep.
Just a couple? Okay.
I've been the car game.
You guys ever ford the river and just like watch your entire family die in front of you?
Obviously.
Oh.
Every day,
It was
man.
so crushing. You ford the river, you make it across, it's like, you made it! But you lost every oxen. So now you're gonna die anyways.
Now you have dysentery.
And you have dysentery. God! Yeah. Oregon Trail, man, it's brutal. That's basically how people how people got across rivers for hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years. You just walked downstream or upstream until you found a skinny spot or a shallow spot, and you either jumped over or walked through the shallows with all your stuff. And that was it. That was how you crossed the river. I mean, this is pre-ferries, where you've got like the little raft thing on a rope. This is that far back. So when you want to cross the river, you basically are just hiking for like a day until there just happens to be a spot to cross. And the Jordan's a pretty big river, so you could really be going for a while before you find a good crossing spot. Keep in mind, they've got thousands and thousands of people, thousands and thousands of animals in their livestock herds, bunches of children, tons of possessions. It would not have been fun to swim across. It would have killed people. It would not have been fun to hike and hike and hike for days until you find a crossing spot. So God just opens the water for them. He could have done it in smaller ways. He could have just like miraculously made the water run lower, and the river's now fordable. Woo! But no, he wanted to do it in a big flashy way. And it does something for Joshua. It sets Joshua up as the next Moses. He has a reputation now. But that's why God chooses two different ways where they're going to build a memorial to this moment. Because really, Joshua's not the guy doing this. Joshua could not wave his hands and go, River, get back. Couldn't do that. That's
No.
only a God thing. And so they build these memorials, one where they're going to camp that night, and one in the middle of the river, as a memorial, a place to remember something. Does anyone know any memorials around here? Yeah.
Memorial Way, it's one of the schools.
The street? In what way is it a memorial?
I know a memorial.
It's a way.
Does anyone know any memorials around here that aren't a street?
It does the memorial for like 7-Eleven, like the buildings.
Which kind of memorial?
It's a literal. It's a literal. It's 9/11. Whatever. 7-Eleven. Oh my gosh.
I get it now. Okay.
Okay.
No, ironically,
Where
well, the
is
nearest
my
7-Eleven has a memorial built outside of it right now. No joke. Because
There's
someone
like
on a
a-
bike got hit by a car and killed there, on that corner.
Oh.
And there's literally a person died here memorial
Funny.
right outside the 7-Eleven. So that's what I thought you were talking about. I didn't think it was a joke at all. I didn't think you messed up at all.
It was a complete accident. Not
Okay, so you meant the 9/11 memorial.
Yeah.
The one over by the fire station?
Like the giant. I don't know. It's like the big. It's just like the buildings with like the little metal sign that you can see. Memorial of 9/11.
Yeah. No, I've been there. Yeah, that is a memorial. That is a memorial. We have a weirder memorial here in the church. You guys know what the memorial we have here?
Like the
Yeah.
graveyard it was built on?
The wall out there
It's a
is
movie theater.
handprints
Genius.
of every middle schooler who's come through here for over a decade.
That has died.
It is.
My hand's been here for a decade.
What other purpose does it serve? It doesn't hold the wall up. It's not like
Yes, it does.
everyone palms the wall. Don't fall over the wall. We've got you.
I mean, what if it did?
You're not like
but they
raising the
only put
morale
their
of the
hand
wall
there?
and high fives.
Well, it sticks the wall together.
The only purpose of that is to remember something. To remember all the people who come through here. It's interesting to watch. Sometimes there's adults who come back to church years after they've been through middle school. They might even have kids by now. And they walk up here, and the first thing they talk about is that wall. They don't talk about the room. They don't talk about our stained carpet with all of its memories built into it. They talk about the wall with the handprints. That's what they talk about. And it brings them back to when they stuck their hand in the wall. Their memories are immediately diverted to the point in time where they stuck their hand in the wall. And there's so many other things that probably happen in middle school. Horrible things, great things, things they loved, things they hated, things that grew them, things that were, should have been forgotten but they can't. But the wall, having a physical thing there that interacts with their brain, makes them remember something. And that's the purpose of a memorial. It's something you can't forget, but it helps you remember anyways. Does that make sense? Okay, so I want you to stop and think for a second. Have any of you guys ever helped build a house?
Yes.
Where you were there while it was all taken apart, you got to see the inside of the walls. You got to put some nails in or paint something, or like you contributed in some tiny fashion to the building of the house. Kind of? You were about to?
Yeah.
Okay. Mateus?
So, I have something to say about the memorial thing and something to say about the house building.
Okay, be quick.
So, when I lived in Palacio, our neighbor next door, we used to have like a big field where like really big where we used to run around and play. All the neighbors would run around and play Nerf guns in there and airsoft sometimes. Then a bunch of workers came and they built a house
Ah,
right there. And we all got sad because we can't play in someone's backyard.
yeah. Yeah.
But we got to help build it.
Oh, nice.
Because we have a neighbor up here, my house, and then it was like right here. They made it a big field.
Mhm.
So we got to like put some nails in, and we wrote our name in the concrete.
Yes! That totally crosses over. That's both the memorial and the house building. That's exactly what I was thinking of. That's the kind of thing you're always going to remember for the rest of your life. And if you ever happen to forget, all it would take is walking down that street one more time, and it would all come back instantly. Because you put your mark, you put your memories into that slab of concrete, and you get back near it again, those memories will be jogged. Suddenly you're going to remember that point in your life, playing in the field, helping build the house, who were those neighbor kids. Maybe you can barely remember their names when you're an adult someday, but Oh, God. Well, you said you all played in the field. I just assumed they
I
were
know.
like 80-year-old
grandma's in the field at the end of the day.
No,
hilarious.
the kids up there.
I got it. I understood. I was just kidding. But it's all gonna come back, even if you start to forget. The memorial will help you. Yeah.
So I've actually seen a few memorials up in Paradise.
Mhm.
Yeah, so there was one like right on the edge of the road.
Okay.
I think it was like our country, but it was like, you know, like little areas where you drive through.
Yeah,
I think it was there. I think the car might have like fallen off or something.
that makes sense.
Like right on the
It
edge.
can happen. Now there's not a conversation. There's an experience I think you guys have all had, and that is when you walk by a memorial that you have nothing to do with. You're at some museum, you're at some national park, or you're just like walking down the road and you see a plaque to someone, the flower wreath for someone who died, like some kind of memorial, but it has nothing to do with you. You guys have all experienced something like this, right? Where the plaque just exists. And until you connect with something to do with that memorial, it's kind of meaningless. And you might even ask a question. What is that? What is this for? I know when I'm driving down the road and I see a memorial, I am drawn to it until I know what it's for. I would like to know what it's for. It pulls my brain out of my head and just says, there's something here that a bunch of people think is important, but you don't even know what it is. I need to figure it out. Like, what is this? How important is this? Is this connected to me in some way? And this is the other function of memorials. It is to get people who weren't there to learn about whatever important thing happened. So one of the things that happens with our hand wall is that little kids come up here to pick you guys up. Some of you guys have younger siblings, some of you don't. Okay. But some of you guys have younger siblings. They come up here to get you. And I've been asked over the years, countless times, by little kids, can I put my hand on the wall? And they don't get why those hands are there. They just think it's neat. And then I get a chance to explain. Oh no, that's just for the middle schoolers. When you're a middle schooler, then you can stick your hand on the wall. And they're like waiting for it. They're excited. Yes! Yes, Mateus, you get to.
I want to slap one.
Isn't that great? Yeah, don't slap it. It goes
did,
splatter
but
everywhere.
I realized everyone would make fun of me for how much
You get your shirt, get everyone else's hands all painty. We're running out of space. We have to build you guys another wall or
Let's
something.
go.
Yeah!
We just have like two walls for no good reason.
Build one in
A
here.
wall right in the middle. Yeah, do that. Mhm. Yeah, there's a memorial song for the Red Sea. They're both memorial. They don't have to do with each other in any particular way.
Yeah, the Rock City song.
But if you go back through the song, you can see that the whole idea is that God fulfills promises. That was more the idea behind the Red Sea, because that was a promised crossing, in a sense. God promised to get them out of Egypt, and then he made good on his promise. And in this case, it's a different promise, but it is still a promise fulfilled, because this marks the beginning of the Canaanite, or the land of Canaan conquest, where they're going to conquer the land, clear it out, and obtain it. It will become theirs. So it's like two different promises. One of rescue, one of a gift, a blessing. So, as they cross over, they've got these memorials, and they're two different places. One of them is right in the middle of the river, and I think this one's really cool, because that means every time after, when someone crosses that river, near there, which will be much harder, all future crossings will be more difficult. They're going to see this little pillar out there sticking up, just barely out of the water. And they're going to look at that and go, oh, that's where God peeled back the water. And how visceral, how sensational is it that while you're swimming through, fording through, trying to get through this river, is when you're reminded of the time God peeled back these waters. Does that make sense? It would be like going to the Red Sea now. If you could tell exactly where the Red Sea crossing took place, it would feel different than swimming in any other body of water. You'd be swimming there thinking, once upon a time, this water was pushed back and there was just dirt here, and someone got to walk all the way down there underneath it. Now it would just be weird. You're not going to get that sensation anywhere else on the planet, but right there. Yeah, look.
I'm assuming that the rock wall, memorial is not there.
Yeah, so it's still there by the time Joshua was writing this down, and these books were being published, but it's been thousands of years since then. Even if the rocks never moved, they would have been weathered to the point of non-existence. That's kind of how rivers roll. Yeah. They could have. You're right. I don't know that they have to. Yeah.
So, like, I wasn't really little. This was like, when I was like 4 or something.
Mhm.
We were painting our, like, not our old house, but like 2 houses ago, like this old house for my dad.
Mhm.
And like, cause like my house was super muddy and stuff, in like, the paint, the wet paint, I wrote Aiden was here. But because I was 4, it looks like Aiden was beer.
Beer.
Yeah.
He was a well-aged grain beverage. That
And
is
my
like-
dad had to like explain to like people who bought the house that like this was like not intended.
I swear, it's way cuter than it seems. Aiden's in the back with like his
Yeah,
headphones
the
on, teenager Aiden, like, stop. Alright guys, let's keep reading. We read up to verse 9, so now we're going to pick back up at verse 10. Let's finish the story. The priests who were carrying the ark stood in the middle of the river until all of the Lord's commands that Moses had given to Joshua were carried out. Meanwhile, the people hurried across the riverbed. And when everyone was safely on the other side, the priests crossed over with the ark of the Lord as the people watched. The armed warriors from the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh led the Israelites across the Jordan just as Moses had directed. These armed men, about 40,000 strong, were ready for battle, and the Lord was with them as they crossed over the plains of Jericho. Edward, you can answer yourselves?
Yeah.
Take your
Not
Bible?
cool, my Bible.
Actually, read it. Don't lie, you're playing with each other. You're fine. Read your Bible. Micah, pick up your Bible, and you're welcome to move seats, Micah, if he's bothering you.
Not cool ever.
There's 2 good ones right here. Alright, let's keep reading. Verse 14. That day the Lord made Joshua a great leader in the eyes of all the Israelites, and for the rest of his life they revered him as much as they had revered Moses. The Lord said to Joshua, command the priests carrying the Ark of the Covenant to come up out of the riverbed. So Joshua gave the command, and as soon as the priests carrying the Ark of the Lord's Covenant came up out of the riverbed, their feet were on high ground. The water of the Jordan returned and overflowed its banks as before. So, overflowed its banks. This is a phrase that means the river was surging. In this part of the world, they often have kind of a boom or bust rainfall. So it's either a ton more than you need, or there's just nothing. It's completely dry. And so apparently in this season, when God does this miracle, it was not a low water season, it was a high water season. So the rain was plentiful when God works the miracle. So it's not a tiny miracle. It's not like, the river dried up and they just pretended it was a miracle. No, the river was overflowing when God chose to hold the water back for them. Which is cool, because that means if God didn't work a miracle, they were kind of stuck. They would have just been camping out for a while. When the Jordan is overflowing its banks, there really isn't a good place to ford it. You're just kind of trapped until the seasons change. That could take a while. Or you can only swim, which means you have to leave all your stuff that would make you sink as you swim across. Just not a good time. So God gets them across. Yes.
Okay, so since the new 1.19 update, they could just go punch some wood, make a crafting table, and make the new boat with chest, and just put all their stuff in it. And get it
If
done.
only.
Yeah.
If only their Minecraft tech was up to date. You realize that this is back in time, so it's before the update.
That's if their inventory.
Ah.
Because of like
Fatal flaw in the plan. Fatal flaw.
And you
Yeah.
have
This
money
is
yet.
pre-alpha.
People were online.
Pre-alpha. Okay.
the beta version.
We are going to do an activity before we finish our chapter. This is what I would like for you guys to do. I would like for you guys to help me make a new middle school memorial.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Put our feet on the wall.
Yes!
Yeah.
Yay! Who's gonna kick the wall?
No, not a twist on an old one, a completely new one.
Put our feet on the ground!
So I need some monochrome monograms. And I need them to include a little bit about what God has done for you this year. Could be a word, could be a paragraph. I don't care how much you write. Something about what God has done for you this year, 2022. Does anyone know what a monochrome monogram is? What's your name? It's ancient technology. I present it to you humbly.
Or the update.
For your perusal. Alright guys, one piece of paper, one pencil each. Come and grab it.
Oh,
Your name, as big as you want, as artistically as you want,
this is abusing me.
and at least one word, up to one paragraph, about what God has done for you this year. Paper two, paper two, paper two, paper
Wait, so
two.
basically it's Thanksgiving?
Yes.
But Vegas.
Bro, it's in your hand.
Did you break my pencil?
No.
Yes,
You owe me a pencil.
He stole it from me.
You owe me a pencil.
What?
I bought that one too.
Bro,
I keep trying to hand you one. You wouldn't take
out of
it.
my hand.
You snapped it in
You
half.
just don't break pencils.
I don't care.
I didn't break a pencil.
No, he's not. You're just small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to write one too.
You're not as close.
No, I didn't.
Let's actually take both of these seats. I don't know.
Just put it in the basket.
How old is he?
That works. Emma! Pencil and paper.
What?
Pencil and paper. You each get one. One pencil, one paper.
How often no
I'm gonna convert it to digital.
Can I go use it?
I just don't have this many iPads.
What? He stepped on your Bible. He even stepped on your Bible.
Alright guys, Grace is already done. You lost the race.
It was a race.
No.
Grace won the race.
Grace won. Grace wins the opportunity to sit down and be bored just a little bit longer in jail.
Okay, excuse me. What are we doing?
Bring me your name and your thing that God has done for you this year. You can write a single word, you can write a single paragraph, or anything in between. You can draw your name out, you can shade it, you can put your whole head onto the sheet. I don't care. It doesn't matter. You can be as artistic or unartistic as you like. No rules.
Can I write my secret name?
And one word. At least one word of something God has done for you this year. Or even a whole paragraph. I'm going to sharpen all the ends of this book.
We will. I see you right. Why didn't you hear my name down? Oh my God.
Got you there.
Are you thankful?
Bro, it's like so weird.
That is not.
Yeah, what were we supposed to do?
Can I write my nickname?
No.
I was gonna do Willie Thor.
What were we supposed to write?
I don't your name.
There you go. Now this pencil has two sides.
Can I write my
Someone could write on two
nickname?
papers at once if you hold
Can I
one of them
write,
together.
can I write my secret name?
No, you may write your real name. If you write a fake name, I might choose not to use yours
What?
for the memorial.
What?
Daniel.
You might be excluded. If your real name's on there too.
Hey, Daniel. Daniel.
Wait. Wait, are you gonna put your?
No.
Oh, okay.
Daniel. I have a lot of nicknames. Hey, Daniel, look
Yeah.
at me.
No, you should put that.
Why do you have all my pencils? Stop taking all my pencils.
Why?
Wait, Grace, don't run away with my pencils. You're making this worse. You've gone from like burglar to cat burglar now.
Why do you have so
With me.
many? You said
Thank you.
that's the opposite of one.
Thank you. She doesn't need a pencil. She already wrote her memorial. For this one. You all done?
Sucks.
Okay, cool.
Oh, that's so
Thank you.
Look it. What do you mean on my dog?
No, this was not safe to tell you until I watched the picture.
That's all they were trying to
Why are all my pencils gone? Grace, stop stealing your
You're not
pencils!
supposed to
I hope you don't mind, but I didn't.
You can start over if you want. You can start over if you want. Because this is the assignment. Nope.
You can start over though.
What? Why?
Because you didn't run the assignment.
Yes, I did.
You lied.
Why is she
You
stealing?
never said in English.
Why is she stealing your pencil?
Did you trust him?
No, but I read what he wrote in French, and it's not the assignment either. It doesn't matter if I translate. You didn't do the assignment.
I thought God had helped me.
But that wasn't the assignment. What about the muffins? What about the bizarre Judah?
You will be distracted, I can guarantee you. You're gay. I'm arresting you now. You can leave it alone. Okay. You scared me, Mike. I'm concerned for your health. No, thanks.
You know what Logan rhymes with?
Oh, no.
Well, this one is going to go on my wall. Oh, this is perfect. Just not for the assignment. What do you rate?
Well, gosh, yeah.
How'd you rate?
But Judah is weird. I like muffins, and God told me do good in school.
All in red?
Yeah.
Red Bull.
What's your grade, bro?
What's your grade?
Simultaneously overachieving and underachieving at the same time.
Okay, fine. I
Simultaneously.
create my
This is like your new bonus on Monday.
That's all.
No, it's not. Ask my dead grandma.
It used to be 16, now it's up to 12.
I feel like that's like a New Year motto. My dead grandma.
Mike got this. Why are you all late?
Oh no, I'm just stealing
I can see that.
Right now, Gabe.
Alright guys,
Dad,
we're still going.
chair.
We got a few more. Aiden? Okay. Lily, Nevaeh, anyone else still going?
Daniel.
In case I need to stand up.
Because it's not
To your point.
I'm dumb.
Nice.
Hey, you spill your bowl red.
It's a red. It's a bikini thing.
Alright, hurry up, you three. Paper still. Everybody else find a seat, find a Bible. We're going to start reading the Bible again. Mateus, hurry up and finish. You're not writing the KD thing. Micah, find a seat in the Bible. Aiden, find a seat in the Bible.
I have
Aiden,
a
find a
seat.
seat in the Bible. Edward, are you got it?
My KD went up. I don't know. Right, that your KD went up. If you're thankful for it. That your
That's pretty good. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't think of anything else.
Why? Why? Are you intentionally making it worse than the first one? Can I pick the first one?
What am I supposed to write? I'm like,
You're not even in the horrible person. You didn't
no,
exist.
right
10 years from now, there's going to be no Aiden. I'm going to remove your team from this.
I'm taller than you. Yay!
See? It's already taking effect. My words are altering the universe.
Let me just stand on my chair.
Where's my paper one at?
No, it's kind of wrong. It's
Break the chair.
No, it's
Is it good or is it funny? Okay, okay.
What's good and funny?
Oh, good.
Can I throw it in?
This is good.
Can I throw it in blood?
Can you throw him? No, I don't believe you can. Unless it's like out of the way of a bullet train.
What if someone's coming to take
Find your Bible, have a seat.
grab
Find
him?
your Bible, have a seat. Find your Bible, have a seat.
Hey, Daniel.
Find your Bible, have a seat.
Mateus wants to know why he can't write my KD went up.
Because God didn't do it.
That's not
He
true.
gave him the skill
Mateus
to
did.
get more kills.
No. Micah, find a seat. Bible, seat. Bible, seat. That's not a seat, and it's not a Bible.
Go.
Baby double.
My KD went from 60 to
We need to
100.
make a new rubber baby buggy bumper with a mummy.
Rubber baby bubble. Bubber. I want a shirt that says rubber baby bubber.
Alright, open up your Bibles to Joshua chapter 4. Mateus, do you want to not be part of the memorial too?
No, I'm writing it.
Not cool,
Mateus wants to
Mateus.
die.
You wrote John instead of Judah. Oh, D?
Aiden, have a seat. Open your Bible. You're going to lose your phone.
You can make that into an egg. Don't worry.
Aiden, have a seat.
Put it in the phone bucket. 5,
4,
4,
3, 0, 16.
I don't think he knows what countdowns are.
No.
Alright guys, Joshua chapter 4,
What do I give to him?
picking back up at
What do
verse
I give
19.
to him?
Dad.
What?
All of the above.
That's pretty good.
Did you actually write something legitimate?
He wrote something legitimate. It's amazing.
No?
Hey, Mateus, you can sit back here now.
Mateus, that's not where the seats are.
Wow, Logan.
Oh,
I
wow.
couldn't sit there, but Mateus can.
Kira took this
Mateus needs to go
assignment
back to
like
preschool and
seriously.
learn what chairs
Kira doesn't
should
take
try.
anything seriously.
Kira
Kira,
did
you're
good.
fatherless.
No, you're
Motherless,
not.
father.
I
Kira said no one. Yesterday I told you no one
Let's take a
loves you.
sip,
She was
boy.
like, Alan does.
Wrong
I said,
sip.
whoa.
Okay, so.
Kira, where's Alan?
Yo.
I get it now. It makes more sense.
What is this?
I thought you were thinking about
Remember he loves you.
I don't know. Edward, how am I supposed to know the name of your cat?
Families in town, so hanging out with their family while they're in town.
Alright guys, find your seat, open up to Joshua chapter 4. We are picking back up. Nice. We don't always go into
We can also do this. Everyone.
No, Dad Grace. Grace, put the pencils down. Pick up the Bible. Pick up the Bible. Joshua chapter 4. Mateus, you are not allowed to sit on top of another human.
Hey, sit on top of me.
This is how we
I'm not human, I'm alien.
Aiden, neither are you. Aiden, you lost your chair fair and square. Go find another one.
Fair and square.
Go, Aiden, go.
No, you lost your chair fair and circle.
Aiden,
It's
find a
trash
seat.
anyway.
Are you allowed to sit on the
Aiden,
table?
find a seat. No, Edward is not allowed to sit on anyone. No one is allowed to sit on anyone. Sit on chair.
You're fun.
That was your son.
What, so we can't
Yes,
sit
please.
on giant
What happens if that
I
said
know.
person identifies that
That's your
chair?
father.
So fake.
Joshua chapter 4, verse 19.
Bro, he's in my face. I'm sitting on you.
Why are there so people talking? Take your Bible. Joshua 4:19 means get your Bible out. Look at Joshua chapter 4, verse 19.
What do you mean?
Don't open your mouth, either of you. Take your eyeballs, put them on Joshua chapter 4, verse 19.
Where's Joshua?
Alright, here we go. The people crossed the Jordan on the 10th day of the month. Then they camped at Gilgal, just east of Jericho. It was there at Gilgal that Joshua piled up 12 stones taken from the Jordan River. Then, Aiden, you don't get to move to.
What did he get
Sit
to?
down.
What did he
You
get
got
to?
up for a legitimate reason.
I'm not like better.
Sit down.
I'm better than you.
I got up to throw down.
Mateus, shut your mouth. Open your
Oh my
Bible.
god, you're throwing down with
Edward,
people?
shut your mouth.
What? Whoa, I never.
Keep it shut.
Not cool, Edward.
Don't touch me.
I slept at your
Nope,
house.
not even grapes. Okay, one more time. Edward, if you have something worth saying, you can raise your hand. Otherwise, you can be silent. If you cannot maintain that, you will be asked to step out of the room with one of the leaders. Is that understood? Okay. Chapter 4, verse 21. Then Joshua said to the Israelites, in the future, your children will ask, what do these stones mean? Then you can tell them. This is where the Israelites crossed the Jordan on dry ground. For the Lord your God dried up the river right before your eyes, and he kept it dry until you were all across, just as he did at the Red Sea, when he dried it up until we had all crossed over. He did this so all the nations of the earth might know that the Lord's hand is powerful, and so you might fear the Lord your God forever. This moment in time is right before they go into Canaan and they start fighting the nations. And the nations have heard rumors from 40 years ago that God opened up the Red Sea and let them cross the Red Sea on dry ground. But it was just a rumor. The Canaanites weren't there, the Canaanites didn't see it, and it was 40 years ago. This is not a time in history where there's video cameras or there's photograph cameras. Like, there's nothing to record these events in a believable way. It's just the story. And so, that event, crossing the Red Sea, might have done a bunch to scare Canaanites 40 years ago, when the rumor was fresh, when you could find more witnesses for the story, to the events. But now, 40 years on, it's pretty far back. A lot of people are going to think it was fake. A lot of people are going to think it's just propaganda, fake news. So God kind of does it again. They're not at the Red Sea, so that's not going to work. But he lets them cross the Jordan when it's swelled, when it's back, when it's just pouring water down every single day. And that's when they cross. So now there's a fresh miracle, just like last time. So it re-ups God's trustworthiness, his power in the Canaanites' minds. So now the Canaanites are shaking again. They're scared again. They have brand new reasons to trust that God has power. And the memorial is there to remind future generations of how much God was in the Israelites' corner, how much God had their back, how much God was fighting for them, and they didn't really need to go fight on their own. So, what we're going to do with your little memorial submissions here is I'm going to go through and I'm going to photograph these, and then I'm going to blank out the white. I'm going to take away the white, so it's just the pencil, just like that. a transparency with the black little pencil writing on it. And then I'm going to incorporate it into our middle school wallpaper that is up on the screen every single day that we're here. And it'll be a little hard to see because our middle school wallpaper is pretty busy. The backdrop is really liney and swirly and curvy. But it's going to be there. And you'll be able to find your name. You'll be able to find your 2022, what did God do for me? It'll be kind of hidden in there. Well, maybe I'll edit yours.
The English.
Aiden had to twist the assignment.
I mean, if you edit it to English, it won't be that bad.
I know, but only 1/3 of it, and only if I do translate it to English. I can leave it in French. I'm not going to put all of it.
Yeah, I also put Judah is
You
weird.
wrote it in French?
Yeah, I wrote it in French. What about it?
The point is, future middle schoolers will just see wallpaper until they get closer, and they notice there's something in those lines. There's something. It's not just a pattern. What's going on here? I mean, they're going to look and they're going to start to see little names pop out at them. And they're going to think, well, that's weird. But they'll see the names and then they'll know who to ask. They'll know which of you were here today. Which of you got your thing stuck in your wallpaper. And you're going to be able to tell them, oh, yeah, that's when we were supposed to write down what God did for us in 2022. And you'll be able to tell them the story of what God did for you in 2022. Make sense? The memorial out there talks about your whole time here, but this just talks about what you were thinking about today. Something you were thankful for, something that changed your life, something that was important to you today. And so, even a year from now, or 2 years from now, or 3 years from now, I have no intention of changing the wallpaper. Not anytime soon. This little what God did for you in 2022 is going to be hidden there, waiting for you to find it. Yes?
If I do another one, can I do it right? Can I put, he taught me how to speak French, but in French?
Yes.
I'll consider it. Okay, so when they did this, it was for their kids, and that's a little bit different. But there's something we started doing around our house that was related to this. I was curious to see, as my 6-year-old, she's 6, Jane starts to read everything in sight.
Whoa.
She just reads everything lying around. What we could do to up the amount of scripture, the amount of the Bible that's leaking into her head. It's just around her at all times. And so I mentioned it to Emily. Emily dutifully found a bunch of cool scriptures, wrote them down, and has just hung them all over the house. Little post-its here and there. Just here's the Bible verse, here's the Bible verse, just all over the place. And so there's these little memorials all over the house of helpful little verses. And they're the kinds of verses that stand on their own. They're the kinds of verses where you can just read that one verse and it just says what it says. You don't need the whole backstory. It's not under just what. Yeah. No. It'd be great to like stick that up whenever they're crying. Something like that. I don't know. Maybe that's not as cutting to them as it is to me. But the idea is just stick little memorials all over the place. And so we're doing this one. I know it might seem a little silly depending on what you wrote on these sheets. Some of you guys wrote some really cool stuff.
Yeah,
And I think it's going to be really interesting a year from now, or if you're still in middle school 2 years from now, when you see it again, you're like, oh yeah, that thing. I think we forgot about that. Others of these are a little silly, or maybe it won't matter to you in 2 years. It depends on what you wrote. But you guys can make memorials in your own mind. And I think sometimes we forget how powerful it can be because we take pictures now of the own thing. You can just leave that. You did break it though, first. Yep, while in your possession.
Now she owes you a new pencil.
Pencil.
Comes the
This is why I can't have that same.
Not here.
To say that did fall out when I was holding it.
Yes,
Convenient.
But I didn't do anything.
it's mostly fixed. It's a free pencil copy. Okay, the point was, you guys live in an age where we all have smartphones all over the place. We have security cameras all over the place, and recordings of things are just normal. They just exist. But it takes something extra to make a memorial in this era. And so we've done something similar for camp. We've printed the camp photos.
No.
But I'm asking you guys to stop and think, what is the kind of thing that's going to still exist 10 years from now? And what is the kind of thing that's important enough that it should exist 10 years from now? Does that make sense?
No, not Mateus.
There are a few things. Aiden Mateus. Edward too. there are a few things that are that important. So one of the ones I know that's really easy, and you can think of other ones, but the really easy one is something like a prayer journal, where you're writing down daily what it is you're asking God to do, what it is God is teaching you, and then you're compiling it. It's there a year from now, it's there 10 years from now, and you still have it. Slowly filling it up. And at any point you could flip to the front, and you could see all the things you asked God for. You can find out, how faithful has he been? In what ways has he answered me? What was it I even cared about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago? What was worrying me back then? That's a pretty useful memorial. Another fun one is to go ask your parents for pictures they printed before you existed. Because if you go back before you guys existed, printing photos was the only way you could have a photo. If you go back far enough, there were no digital photos. If the only photos that exist are printed photos, possibly negative, they might still have it. But ask your parents. See if they have some really old printed photos. They are a very interesting memorial, like a little tiny capsule of what things are like back then. Go ask. Go see. Get them to tell you a few of the old stories. That's the kind of thing that connects you back to what God did before you were even here. What God did before you were even walking around. Yeah,
My grandma has a negative.
she still has her negatives?
Yeah.
That's awesome. There's still places you can have them develop to this day. That's a good question for parents. We're not going to do that one right now. Yeah, Willow.
What is negative?
Yeah, you can ask your parents. They know that one. There's no one who's my age or older who doesn't know what a negative is.
Off-brand
Yeah.
photos.
It's not off-brand.
It is.
It's really not.
So my mom, she has a lot of pictures from like
Printed ones?
not printed ones.
Oh,
from,
digital ones?
Like years before I was born.
Yeah.
I thought they had to be printed.
Well, it depends on what year it was. So you guys are young enough. There's probably not a whole decade, but almost a decade before you where digital photography hadn't taken over. But it's right before you were born that the crossover happened from the old style to the digital.
What about me? I'm like 17.
Yeah, it's true. It's getting easier. Okay. So yeah, talk to your parents. See what memorials already exist. Start making your own too for the next generation, because I guarantee digital photography is not going to be as special as the ancient printed out photography was, because it doesn't cost anything to take a lane photo. It used to be you had to pay for your lane photos. Isn't that weird? Paying money for all the lame ones just so you could get your good ones.
You still do.
No, now you don't have to print anything you don't want to print. It's just not the way it was. So yeah, it costs something. It's extra. Yeah, well,
We still have to pay for phones.
that's true, but not
And
always.
phone bill.
Sometimes just the phone bill.
Still, we still have to pay for phones.
All
Or
right.
you like don't pay for
Yeah.
phone bill.
I didn't pay for mine.
I'm gonna get you guys off the topic. The point was memorials and things that help you remember. Let's pray. Jesus, we want to always be reminded of what you've done for us. We want to be thinking about it day after day after day, helping us to get our hearts right and centered on you. So help us to make those healthy memorials. Help us to go home, set up something like a prayer journal, writing verses on the wall, something that gets us to remember every time we pass it where our hearts should be, what we should be focused on. Help us to have those healthy habits in our life. Lord, I ask for each middle schooler here that you give them memory until they get home, so they'll actually do this. They'll set up things to remind them. Maybe it's as simple as the wallpaper on their digital device, so that every time they head back to the home screen, they are reminded of you, reminded to put it down and read goodbye to that. Maybe it's as simple as putting a decal up on the ceiling every time they lay down in bed. They see something that reminds them of you. Whatever it is, God, help them to figure it out. Help them to find things that will remind them, that will push them back to you day in, day out. Or we want to be close to you, but we are so often distracted. To help us to make good plans that help us get back to you. With our heads bowed, with our eyes closed, if there's anyone here this morning that isn't close to God at all yet, maybe you have no relationship with Him, you don't talk to Him, you've never prayed with Him, you can make a change right now. You can join His family. The Bible tells us that we have all sinned, we've all messed up, we've all made mistakes to the point where we don't deserve any of the perfection that God wants to give us. We don't deserve heaven. We don't deserve His forgiveness. We don't deserve any of it. But the Bible also says that He loves us anyway, without us needing to deserve it. And He wants us to be part of His family. He wants us to be forgiven. So if you're sitting here today and you don't have that yet, but you want that, I would just ask you to raise up your hand, and I'll pray with you. I'll help you out with the words. You can talk of a God that created you. And you can ask for His forgiveness. You can ask to become part of His family. Anyone this morning? Lord, bless these middle schoolers as they go. Help them find those healthy reminders and to put them into place this week. They don't go a day without thinking about you and drawing close to you. We pray that in your name. Amen. All right, real quick, before you get up and move, if you're going to forget to take the topic night poll and tell me what topics you would like to cover this September on Friday nights, come see me. I have an iPad right here. You can take the poll right now, and you can immediately put your requests into the poll as we stand here. Okay?
Speaking of standing and breathing, we should do the phone button.
That's a pretty good reason to miss one.
We're going on the 4th and coming
All right, that's it. I love you guys. I will see you on Friday. Oh,
Friday.
yeah.
Come here, be my snuggle.
I don't want to go anywhere near
Be my snuggle buddy.
Okay.
How did you see your leg? No! This time we're being really fun. Oh, he's so since my dad can't walk in.
Go girl.
Kira, you won.
I did?
Yeah.
You?
Aiden, your phone was playing out.
Hey, I won! That was one
You just took out your phone. And the
I put it
teacher,
back at the beginning too, though.
why was it back under your bed?
Because I learned some French, so I know what to write down. And then I put it right back afterwards.
That is not what the phone button is. The whole point is to not have your phone. So I don't know, maybe you wouldn't write things in French.
Maybe you want to go learn the French Bible.
God.
I got a You know who Pam's wife is?
Pam's husband.
Oh, no. Pam. I didn't. Yeah. Actually, I just need to
Who
talk.
Pam is the wife of?
Who? Yes.
Sam.
Wait, who do I have to talk to
You
again?
have to submit the form.
I already submitted the form. You know?
When is that?
What?
When?
Today?
What?
Okay.
But it says I also have to talk to people.
Oh, right.
Like, I think it's Jacob.
Come back. Come back. Don't leave.
I'm gonna work with the children.
So you fill out the form.
Yes.
In the what?
In the bucket. I filled out the serve form and the
Okay.
I filled out 2 forms.
Where'd you find this form?
They were both next to the bucket.
What bucket?
Children. Like the bucket on the wall.
Okay. Great. Then you just wait for your contact. You put in your phone number, your email, and all that jazz. What does the form look like on the wall? I feel like you did the wrong form.
Children's ministry, and there was also another one that said servant.
Okay.
So
What did it look like?
I know which one you're talking about.
I need to know which one you're talking because I'm not clear yet. It's unclear. How long did this take you to fill out? It's like an 8-page form with like 100 buttons. I feel like you fill it out. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
I found a 1-page one and a 3-page one.
Okay, so it's in a manila envelope. You know what manila is?
Oh, I have to fill out that one?
Yeah. Like a black card taped to it. On the manila envelope, it's got a big black label on it.
There's another one that said children's ministry. Well, they don't work there.
Yeah. So basically, that's in the next part. It just says, "Hey, I'm interested. I don't know what the heck they do." And then they'll talk to you and they'll tell you what they have to do, which is go get the vanilla audible and draw them. They are. They're just not that bright in a well-lit room.
Daniel,
Yeah.
you wanna play pool?
No.
Aw.
Can I keep these?
Yep. Sure. Go ahead.
Yay!
Tell your dad if he asks, because I know he's gonna be like, "Wait, where'd you get that?" Tell him it's been in our Austin farm for over a year and no one's ever cleaned it.
Bobby! Bobby! Bobby, I commanded you. You don't know? Bobby! 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 You wanna play pool?
Here for a while.
You wanna play pool?
Let's get it, Grandpa. How do you play?
Can I play more Tricky Towers?
Are you allowed to bring one home today? Picture.
No.
Also, let me tell you, I got this like a long time ago.
I know!
Cool.
Bobby!
Yes.
Bobby!
No, you can't play.
Or John. I'm Georgian.
Nickel battle.
Bobby! Come play, Bobby!
Are you ready?
Yeah.
No.
Oh my God, he's literally playing with you.
Oh my God.
Bobby!
Look at it. You got that 1080 quality
Arm this guy. Oh, that's a woman. That is a woman. I don't want to be a woman. What happened?
Bobby, quickly!
Wait, how do we? Oh my God, I'm gonna see that, please.
What?
That's mine.
Yeah.
Yay!
Look at her. She's like, I'm tiny.
Why did you give it to her?
I just want to take
You said he said he found it.
I never said that.
No, he said I can hold it.
Bobby, come
I
forward.
did not know what a vanilla envelope
No, it's just no, it's just
I go to two second players. Oh, you're against Daniel or something. Oh,
Hey. Oh yes, yes, yes.
I wasn't first.
We're playing drama. I hate these physics.
it's tilted tower.
I don't like physics.
I know, dude.
Ah!
I want to start this story. Yeah, get over here.
Hey,
Yeah, get over here.
so
Ah,
fun.
get over here.
Good for you.
I can
What the heck?
Let's go.
Bam.
I'm so excited to fill out this whole form. Wait, after
No! The fat lady was in first.
The fat
Oh, the fat
Olga was in first. Freaking Olga. Freaking Grog was in first. Grog was in first. Oh,
are you
I'm
making
back
up
to
names?
first place.
What is
Never
this?
mind, I'm back to
The
third
fat
place.
lady.
Never
I'm
mind,
in
I'm back to
second.
first. Yes. Aha.
Skip that.
Bam.
Right there, Grandma. Yeah, boy. Call me
Fill out
Schmogglebach.
this huge form. Yeah, bro.
They're calling me Schmogglebach.
Smack it back up.
Daniel, how did that happen? What? No!
No. Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. Actually, that helped. It got rid of those unwanted blocks. What's going on, dude? Why is it moving? You're dead. I'm in
Balloons.
second
Give me
place,
balloons.
Mary Bevin.
How
How are you last?
No.
Haha, thank you for the giant block.
Thank you. Bam.
Your boots?
Yeah, I minded my boat. Yo, I got that travel bill.
I know my current address.
Let's go. Hey, who wants to enter their address into my iPad? Oh,
No.
Yo, a 3-year-old's trying to get a date on Fortnite. Be like, who wants to enter their address on my iPad? Yo, what did he say? This man said, please. Oh, I saved that. Yes, I'm gonna win.
No, my phone!
No. Mine went goodbye. I just stuck on a chair.
No, that's not a zip code.
Get your postal
Don't
code.
you know your zip code?
Let that one go off the end.
No, my mom.
No, I didn't.
I know my zip code.
No.
If Judah wasn't in front of it.
I have to hold it for 2.
I have to do.
You are
Judah,
so
did you make him
mean.
lose?
Maybe.
Is Judah cheating?
No.
Daniel.
Judah cheating.
Of course he is.
Judah. Yes, thank you, Auntie, thank you. You just helped me out so much. Right there.
Daniel, this is so close. Give up your controller. Give it up.
I have to go.
Whoever can reach it.
Wait, can I
Let's go.
Can I play? I only got to play one round.
That was my first time playing this game ever.
No, I decided I'll do that later because that's gonna take.
I'm the king.
Yes, Fortnite. You're bad at Fortnite.
No, it's my turn. Wait, I want to play.
You know what? Here.
Wait, no.
Good job, Edward.
Even though I
I don't know how to play.
It's okay, it's just like Tetris, but stacking. Aiden, no picking up humans. Thank you. The other Aiden. Aiden, put down Edward. Thank you.
Oh, you stopped it. Started it. Started it.
Yeah,
who
you're the
I
fat
am.
Helga lady.
I don't know who I am.
You're in
No
first
more.
place, by the way. Yeah. What is this?
Okay.
It's Tetris with physics. It's Tetris with physics that nobody likes.
No, you didn't. You didn't want to. You didn't want to.
What
You
is
picked
it?
someone else over
Reverse
me.
Tetris. Reverse Tetris, but with physics.
Micah, there's no climbing on other humans.
Yes.
Hands off.
Do it.
I don't
You
care.
can't say that every time someone does it. He likes it.
Fourth place. Oh, well, if he likes it, then there's something
It doesn't matter.
Wait.
Yeah.
I can't. I got a
Get that
block
travel
right in front
towel.
of me.
Get that travel
Oh,
towel.
I never.
It smells good. Whoever did this is annoying.
No, Sean, it just makes their block slippery.
Why?
That's annoying.
Oh, these are some slippery rocks.
Bro, Robert.
Go. Hoggers!
Oh, he finally did it after 7 years. He finally got it. Oh, no.
Wow, Daniel's doing so basically good.
I know, even though he's like in first place. Oh! No.
How does that make any sense, Micah?
Oh, thank God your whole tower did not just fall.
I win.
You were doing so good until that one time when you decided to.
No, tower!
Who's first?
Come back!
Tower tumble!
Ah, Savinia!
She's
You know you
hurting me.
No one likes a slippery
She's
livery.
hurting me. She's hurting me.
You know
Hey
you
guys, don't play with Micah's hair, please.
X.
He told me I could.
B.
I don't
Oh, I
care.
said tomorrow you could.
Yeah, he said.
I didn't ask if he told you.
He'd
Okay.
make his hair a yud.
B.
Yeah, don't be a booty.
I hate this game.
Why are you
I
playing?
never heard so.
I know, right?
Why are
I
you?
can't place anything on this stupid block.
Why are you baby raging on Tetris with physics?
Finally, I have to throw that block off.
Why is there a golden ball?
Who's first right now?
Me.
Oh, those are slippery blocks.
No, the one that's like absolutely sweating at this.
Baba, Baba! If you baby rage on Tetris Tetris with physics, there's something wrong with your brain.
It's the most rage-inducing game ever. Look at this.
What the heck?
It's horrible.
How
It's
did you
intense
hit the
gameplay.
block and then send the block?
Right in the area.
It did.
He's hacking.
Yes!
Who's hacking?
Everyone.
Didn't mean to do that.
The
Why?
game itself is hacking.
Yes, exactly. You want to
Oh my god. According to him, the game itself is hacking.
They did.
Game can't hack. It's not good at that.
My bird box? Oh my god.
Player 3, press B.
No, click X. Click X.
Oh, I hate you. Why would you tell him that? No!
You're welcome.
I don't think he said
This
it.
new Fall Guys
No.
update is something else.
Oh my gosh, Grace, why would you poke someone in the eye? Why would you do that? You literally put it in my eye. Yes, it was inside of my eyelid.
Oh. Yeah, player 2.
God, no, it really hurt. You put it in my
I
eye.
love this game! You look like you're really good at Fortnite.
This is my first time playing this.
Yes, well, said that.
But who won? Yeah, I kind of wondered.
Alright guys, have you lost? Pass your controller.
Not me. Ask again.
Aiden, you lost. Pass the controller.
Whoa.
Give the controller.
Pass the controller.
Give the
You
controller
lost last game.
Pass the
Give me the
controller.
You lost last game.
We added a player. We didn't need to lose one.
No, that's not fair.
Yeah, that's
I
how it
was
works.
not
That's how it
fair.
works.
Daniel,
Aiden, pass the controller.
shoot at you two. I kill that one.
I basically won.
Stop being trash.
Hey, don't take it. I'm not passing it to you.
Yeah, Edward gave it up last game. You should give it to Edward.
Yeah, but I only got to play. This is my second round out of like 5 games. This is
I
my.
already have one.
Which one am I? Oh, what the heck? You just
We're starting over. We're starting over.
This game is dumb.
Guys, stop. Just let us play. I will destroy you all.
What do you
I
mean?
don't know why.
My first game ever
No,
done playing
it's
this
so hard to
game.
predict where it's gonna land.
think
There's
you
like
destroy
50 different actual.
Aiden, no.
Dude, Tetris with physics sucks.
Grace, you gotta stay upstairs for a little bit until the leaders check and see if they're actually done downstairs. Because they didn't end on time.
Oh wait, I'm
Cool the game.
upstairs. Downstairs.
But I don't think they're done.
Yeah.
Oh, it's supposed to be
God!
I win.
Oh!
Why?
I have reasons.
I won.
You're really bad.
Leaders, can you check if they're done downstairs?
You probably got that like the
I want to go with them. Goodbye.
No, I didn't tell you to.
I need my map. I'm a Who is so lucky to get that?
I can waddle it.
No.
What's the order? What's the order? Okay.
Ah, nuts.
Big block.
I'm blue.
You don't know the meaning of nuts.
I mean, you have already have a D. I am C.
No, I don't want to double
I'm red.
Yeah.
Where's the red? Here. I'm for what? What are you? Where's my ball?
Where is the white ball?
Oh, come on.
Shoot us.
I gotta do it again.
Big ice blocks.
You're after me. No, Will's black.
No!
Judah.
I avoided it. I avoided the. Oh, I didn't avoid the balloon. No!
Who's winning?
If you like that, you don't get to play. You'll get to play anyways, but it's fine.
Why do you guys play?
Well, why wouldn't it be? Is it hard to make it packed?
What the heck?
Let's do it.
It's just Tetris, my friend.
I've never played Tetris.
Oh, well, then, yeah, it's witchcraft.
That's Tetris with physics.
Hola! Bonito! Oh!
No.
Hola la!
Well, yeah, that's the point of the game. It's called Tricky Towers, not usual just put things in order towers.
Yes, that's the
Ice.
The cripple just died.
I'm not even trying to help myself. I'm just trying to make everyone.
Holy! Second place's tower is like, the second tower is like the tallest tower in the universe.
What about first place?
I know, this dude's reinforcing his tower with pianos. I know. Whoever this guy
How do
is,
you use
he's
a
insane.
disadvantage to your advantage?
Hacker. I know, literally, he got the advantage out of a bad attack against him. He got the advantage off of an attack against him.
Yes. Floating island. Floating island. No. Yep.
Yeah!
Let's see how this lines up.
It's gonna fall.
Oh, it works. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you missed.
Just cause.
You have to give him your controller,
Give up
Daniel.
your controller.
won.
Give up your controller. Matthias, give up your
He
controller.
just got it. He lost. He just got it.
Yeah, give up your controller.
Gabe gave his controller to Mateus.
Wait, who do I get controller?
No one.
Micah?
Kira.
Oh no, Kira just got it from Micah. You were too slow.
But I ran.
Not fast enough.
Yeah, and also, you weren't thinking fast enough either.
Also that.
Yeah, because if you were thinking fast enough, you would have realized, oh, Micah didn't give us his controller yet. Then you could have came through and just yeeted Micah out of the way.
Ah yes, the whole Micah yeet. It's my favorite yeet.
What does it have to do with me? That's so cool, all the time.
Why does it always have to be not me? I just want it all to
Guys,
be
stop
about
picking
me.
up other humans. Leave
Yeah,
them
just because I'm tiny doesn't mean you can pick me
Stop
up.
pushing
about
the
it.
bushes.
Micah
be.
doesn't
No,
kick
it's not a
me.
question of can you, Aiden. You're plenty strong. It's that I said you're not allowed to, which is totally separate. And Edward, you are not allowed to kick other humans.
That was if the
If we're playing soccer, you can kick the
I
ball.
tried to kick him, so I tapped
Wait a
his
minute, what
shin.
if I kick the ball at someone's balls?
Well, that is a different thing, as one is related to soccer and one is related to humans, which I've already said you're not allowed to kick.
Aw.
If you think
What
about
happens
it,
if the human is soccer?
well then that is a game I would never play.
I would love that game.
so
Especially if it were
invent
a
that game.
3-year-old.
You're so bad at this game.
We call it human soccer the game.
This man just said he's so bad at this game, an entire tower.
Hey, you're really bad at it.
I'm number one, not my garbage. No.
How many spells are people casting?
3.
Three spells. I counted.
Wait, you know where to put that?
Ugandan magic.
Okay, Micah, you can
What was that? Placement. Are you a bush or what?
I know which one you are. Oh! I'm third place. I know I'm second. Oh my gosh, you're second! You're second now, Kira! Bro, I'm like, sorry. I don't know what's happening. Hey, you're still in
Whoever's
second,
first
though.
better win.
No,
In the
I'm
next
fourth.
3 seconds.
You almost got your deal.
Like, I'm
I know, it's totally right.
Wait, you are the fourth here this one.
You are the chosen one.
No, catch it.
Daniel, I'm kind of
How do
fair.
I rotate it? How do I rotate it?
Ah, it hit the edge.
Whoever third is, better start. Fourth is, better start pressing things. Push B. 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 B.
That's why you're doing so
B.
Holy cow!
Thank you.
Daniel, there's no way that fit.
Okay, fourth player. Seriously, press B. Matthias, is that you?
You guys made me win.
Kira, press
I had no choice. You made me win with a giant building piece and a giant elbow. I was cursed with both of those. I didn't have a choice. It would have taken me like 8 more pieces to win.
You win.
Mateus, just hand it to me. Be nice.
Can I play?
Maybe.
Ask
Yeah,
my
make friends.
Wait, Mike doesn't get to go again.
Micah got a
Judah.
computer.
Kira wins, Micah wins, Kira wins, Micah wins.
Judah.
Judah, get Aiden.
Aiden's son. Mateus, you just played. Calm down.
Aiden, it's
Guys,
your...
who's player 4?
Hey, give it to me.
Aiden. Wait, whoa.
Aiden, give it to me.
Guys, we didn't get a 4th player. Can you hurry up? I want to play.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Can I play? It's supposed to be junior high, not adult.
Come on, guys.
No adults are high.
Don't press the buttons. We got it messed up.
Don't press the buttons, don't press the buttons.
Okay, go. Judah, go.
I'm already in.
There you go.
I'm Wizard Merlin. Thou shalt not pass.
I'm getting
I'm trying.
That Daniel, if I lose, can I have something
what's
for
for
snack?
snack? Yeah, everything's there for sale.
You're
They aren't for sale, they're just snacks.
Daniel, what should I say?
Ask for something to eat like trail mix.
4.
Over by the pens, I believe.
Oh my god, I consider. Daniel, do you really believe, or is it just Daniel?
Who's in first?
Me!
Not me.
I know, but like, who's in fourth?
Me!
I feel like Daniel is in third right now. Daniel, are you in first? Daniel, are you
Mateus, I can only play one game at a time. Talking is one of them.
Oh, I already got one in.
I feel like Daniel is second and first.
Oh, we're out? How about in the orange felt basket?
Oh.
Well, I don't know. Give him an Eggo or something?
I have one.
Give that child an Eggo!
Wait, so pretty much here's the goal. Wait, I have a game. I think my mountain dew.
I'm flying!
What we gotta do? No, we use our hands. Oh my god.
Wait, can you just both of them evil magic power?
Just help me.
Here. Open it.
Like,
No. No. Please don't leave me, you game. No. That was really black. Oh, it's a piano.
oh man.
How could you write everything and just gonna slide? Wait, use egg ball. Judo, what are you doing?
I'm flying!
Hold on. Wait a minute, can we actually play? I'm a retarded.
Yeah, play hierarchy.
Why not?
You just gotta get the pucks out of the goals that people jammed in there.
Yes, that is true.
There's no box.
They're jammed in the goals. If you play with all the pucks at once, they get jammed in there.
No,
Someone
don't
did that,
fall,
and they got all
tower!
jammed in there.
Thou shall not fall!
They're pucks. They're not balls.
No!
Yeah, in the goals.
Piano, do my rap! Stupid piano!
Any other night, I just wanna tell you how I'm feeling. Hoping that you understand. I'm gonna give you all that I'm singing.
Daniel!
No, I almost won! I had 3 seconds!
Hey, let's go.
Oh, time we're about to play, go! My gosh.